Yo, what up, everybody? It's your boy Robacus, and today I'm going to answer a question that everybody on a Mario Kart Tour forum asks, and that is, how do I pick the right driver, kart, and glider for whatever race I'm going to do? A lot of people get stuck in between. Do I want my level 3 low end or my level 1 high end? And today I'm going to answer how you make the distinction on who you're going to choose, what you're going to choose, and how you're going to choose it. So sit tight and listen to me go. You know the drill. Like and subscribe. Alright, so to answer this question, I decided to take a screenshot of 3 characters that are similar but of different tiers. And that's the first thing you got to understand. All characters are broken down in 3 tiers. You have your low end, your supers, and your high ends. Okay? And all of these characters are broken up into 3 categories themselves. You have the bonus points that they start off with in the race, their character level, which shows you how much potential points that they can generate, their special item, and their favorited and favored courses. So a favorite course is just a course that allows the character to get a frenzy, which is an awesome thing to have because that gets you a lot of points. And their favored courses are just courses that give them 2 items at a time. So the big question everybody has is a high-end character at like level 2 better than a low-end character at level 3? That is the question I aim to answer right now. Okay, so if you look at the chart that I have up here, you'll notice something really funny about it. And that's this. If they're all at equal level, your high end is always going to trump the other 2. Whereas the super will always trump the low end, but never the high end. However, if you start going further down, you're going to see some inconsistencies that help you. So I'm going to start with supers, right? So if we go with the supers, basically at equal level to a low end, the super is always going to trump it. However, at equal level or higher, the high end is always going to beat the super. But if the super levels up once, you'll notice that it's better than the high end already, which is also the same with the low end over here. If the low end levels up once and your super is only level 1, your low end is now better than your super. So I'm going to explain it in the best way possible for you guys. If you're looking at this, you have the chance of a frenzy and then you have the bonus points, okay? Right here you'll notice that there's a ×1 bonus points. That means they're actually getting their bonus points. Whereas with the level 1 over here, they're not getting any bonus points up here. But they do have a chance of starting a frenzy. 1% is not really all that high, just to be honest with you guys. So I don't really worry so much about that as I do the bonus points themselves. So looking at that, you can pretty much say all the way up until level 6, as long as the low end is 1 level higher than the super, it will always beat the super. Okay? It gets complicated though when we start talking about the high ends because you have 2 different tiers of racers going against your high ends at this point. And the truth is, it's practically the same. So basically what we got over here is as long as the low end and super are 1 level higher than the high end, all the way up until level 4, the low end and the super is always going to win. However, if you're looking at it very carefully, at level 4, the low end has to start being around 2 levels higher, whereas the super is still beating it as long as it's 1 level higher. Once it gets to level 5 though, the low level and the super go back to being just 1 above, but once it gets to 6, nothing beats the high end except for a level 8 super. Alright, so once it gets to level 6, basically nothing's going to touch it except for a level 8. So from 6 and 7, a level 8 super is going to be able to beat a high end 6 and 7. But that's it. Literally that's about it. The low end is never going to touch it after that. And it kind of goes the same over here for the supers, as I said before. Once the super gets to about level 6, none of the low ends are going to touch it. The way I'm calculating what's better is just based upon bonus points, because remember, the name of the game is to get as many points as possible per round. And honestly, I would much rather have a ×3 bonus on my points than just 1 extra % chance that I might get a frenzy. Because the truth is if I got a good racer and he's got ×5 bonus points, chances are when he gets a frenzy, he's gonna get a higher amount of points than that one level lower character that has a slightly higher chance of getting a frenzy, but not as high of a modifier. Another thing to note about these characters is low ends generally have a lot less favorite courses and a lot less favorite courses, so you're rarely going to see them up top as being a potential character to use whenever you do want to get frenzies, because remember, that's what you need. The only other thing you have to note about choosing the right character is what items they're using. So I'm going to pull up a tier list and I'm going to show you that some of these items are better than the other items. Not all items are created equal, unfortunately. So what you're going to need to do is ensure that if you do have two characters of equal or the same level, or you just have a character that even if it's not all that great, if it's only like one level lower and you know the other one's better for points, but the item is trash, you could possibly take a chance on using the character with a better item. But I wouldn't risk it. Just do the points first, but if they're the same level, then use the one with the better item. I may do a video on items here soon, but just a brief synopsis on how these work. So if you look at this chart, you'll see that not all items are created equal, like I said, and your S tier stuff is going to be stuff like the boomerang, because it has the ability to create something called a boom box. What that basically means is when you get a frenzy and somebody with a coin box is rolling around just shooting coins all over the place, you're basically gathering every coin that they drop plus anything else on the map, which is awesome. That racks up so much points, it's not even funny. You've got the coin box itself. It's pretty high up there because it actually it shoots coins out, obviously, and you can just collect them. You've got the big banana. The big banana is probably the best in my opinion, because when you're doing a big banana frenzy on a small map, you are dropping these huge bananas that scatter into 3, and you are hitting as many people as possible. It basically makes you like unstoppable. Everybody else behind you is not catching up. They're getting hit left and right. There's no way they're getting through it, and you're racking up points like crazy. I'm not entirely sure why a lucky 7 would be in the S tier. I would actually think it would be somewhere closer to, I don't know, B, because honestly, it really doesn't do much. It's not like you're shooting all items at once over and over again with this frenzy, but I mean, who knows. The squid is pretty good, and the reason being is because you can just keep shooting squids at people. I mean, honestly, to me, it just seems like I don't know, I'd put this down in like C, because I feel like you're not actually doing any more squids than you normally would, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Then you've got the coin. The coin is awesome because you rack up a crap ton of points just by pressing the frenzy button and collecting as many coins as possible. It's kind of like the coin box, just more controlled. The lightning is pretty good. You just shoot a bunch of lightning. Mushrooms, actually, this is actually underrated, I think, when it comes to an item on the tier list, and that's just because I've used it before, and believe it or not, it does help you blast straight in the first, and you get a lot of points just by using that frenzy. The triple mushroom is about the same thing. Then after that, the tier list goes on down there. Honestly, there's reasons for things being like this, but I would tell you this: you don't really want to use anything down on D or E. obviously, like the leaf isn't going to do anything for you. Bullet bill doesn't appear rarely enough for it to actually be even considered an item for the tier list. And the mushroom cannon works for everybody else, and the banana cannon is actually a health hazard to yourself. All the other ones are pretty good. Just memorize this chart and you can kind of figure which item or character you want to use above the other ones. Lastly, I got an old tier list. Forgive that. Honestly, this thing updates so much, it's not even funny. But when it comes to characters that you want to collect or characters you want to level, try to find characters that have the most favorite courses and favorite courses, because the ones you get to use the most are the ones that you're going to, well, use the most. It's kind of a no-brainer. Like, I do have favorite characters, honestly, like my character Black Yoshi. I love him to death. So you always want one character that comes in clutch that has a good item that's gonna appear in every tour in at least, I don't know, 7 levels. Alright, so as you can see, we're going to move on to the carts, and they're basically broken down the same exact way. When it comes to which one to choose over the other, tier-wise, the rules that I said for the racers are exactly the same. The only difference is what the kart's special ability is. So there are a few special abilities every kart has, and all of them are a little different. So some of them are useless. I'm just going to be honest with you. Some of them are useless, and then some of them are very useful. The two you want the most are the... Alright, so the best abilities are Mini Turbo Plus and the Jump Boost ability. The reason being is because you're going to do mini turbos all the time, and that's going to give you, it's going to make you rack up a lot of points. This ability is literally just an ability that adds time and points earned for performing just one of them, and you're going to do that like a bunch. The Jump Boost one is the same, but it's Jump Boost. And then the trash ones you don't want, for instance, you don't want the Rocket Start Plus because you only perform one the entire race. I try to avoid the Slipstream one because you only do that maybe once or twice a race. And then the last one is the Dash Panel. Dash Panels actually happen quite a bit. Not as much as jumps and not as much as the Mini Turbo Boost. So I would put the Dash Panel in third. So in order it would be the Turbo Boost, Jump, and then Dash Panel. Unless it's a trick level, because those ones are full of jumps. And you're probably going to do less of the Mini Turbo Boost. When it comes to the others, the other two, I don't even look at those vehicles. I don't level them. I don't do anything with them. Unless I have a significant amount of extra points that I can get for being a higher level with that kart, I really just don't even bother with those karts. And then last but not least, you have your gliders. Gliders apply the same rule I have for all the other ones when it comes to their tiers. And the only difference there is the item. Honestly, with gliders, just worry about the tiers, because, I mean, unless you have a character, for instance, that has an ability that either mimics or goes along with that glider, because each glider has an item associated with it, I wouldn't worry about it. But if I were you, always go with the gold coin one first, because the gold coin is one of the best frenzies, like I said before. So, I mean, that's basically my favorite. Anything with a gold coin on it, I've leveled up, and I've kept that on me, and it's always come in clutch. Lastly, you'll notice I didn't say too much about the starter points all the characters, karts, and gliders can get, because for the most part, it's really not that important unless the amount you got is significantly higher, but you can always level everything up to the max. And obviously high ends have the ability of having a lot of starter points. So the truth is make sure your best characters are fully upgraded and equipped. Alright guys, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this answered a lot of questions you had about the game. Like and subscribe if you want to. Shout out to little nephews and cousin, and I'll see you guys in the next one.